Oh, wait. I had the wrong thing. Hey, everybody. I did that wrong. Here we go. Welcome to Kruse Control. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Kruse Control for the special show. It is Sunday, February 5th, 2023. Thank you for being here tonight. It's been a crazy weekend. I ended up working very late on Friday, so I couldn't do a show on Friday. But we're here on Sunday. So thank you for being here tonight. If you're joining us live here in the chat, joining me as always is my co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome to the program. How you doing tonight?
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing good. Doing very good. Some technical things tonight, but that's how it goes when you're down for a little bit. For some reason, the program just wants to tell you, like, meh, whatever. So here we are on this special Sunday. Hey, Rachel, welcome to the program. And also joining us back today is Chris and Joanna PANICO. Welcome back from the PANICO way and at Bitchin' in the Kitchen. How you two doing tonight?
I mean, he was trying to get his shirt front and center. I was like, they need to see my face. And he's like, they need to see my shirt. So that's what I'm doing. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
We're doing great. Everything's great.
Yeah, we see you. We see your shirt. Thanks for being here tonight on this special night.
We wouldn't be anywhere else. I'm going to say that.
Where else could we be? Where else could we be?
Well, we're here tonight. It's going to be great. We're going to go through a bunch of things. As always, here at Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news.
He's back with the lovely Joanna.
It's May. What's up? Someone has a crush.
Time.
It's all right.
That was time.
I need some. They're going to have to pay for security. You guys are going to It's fine. I know.
Thanks for joining us, Ty. We're going to jump into some breaking news here. What, Chris?
She's trying to ruin my spot.
Well, you're kind of half on right now, Chris, half off.
I know, because she's trying. Can you move over a little bit? Jesus, goddamn right.
Rigor mortis.
All right, let him get the breaking news. Okay.
So we're going to dive into some breaking news here, and then we're going to get into our main topics as always. So now it's time for some breaking news. All right, everybody, here we go. Here's time for some breaking news tonight. And the very first thing I want to get into is Night Court is renewed for season 2. That's right, Night Court is coming back. NBC's like, yes, let's do that some more. Let's keep it going, keep the train moving. So season 2 is happening. Again, we talked about how great the ratings have been. So of course, this is just a natural thing to happen. Early renewal. The cast and crew are probably going crazy about it, but you're getting more Night Court. So season 1 is not it. And with that, with them saying yes, well, we also have a no, as always, as the show Never Let Go has been canceled. Now, the thing is, I never even heard of this, but Never Let Go was a show that they were going to move forward with FX, and it didn't get that far. It's about a religious teenage clone who escapes from the boarding school where her fellow clones are kept hidden away from society. So I guess this was something they were developing. Didn't get too far. They decided to, just cancel this and let it go. So they said no. And as they said no, of course, we have a yes. So they said no. And the show, So Help Me Todd, said yes. So Help Me Todd is coming back for a second season. Again, another show that's just kind of been under the radar for me. But they've been doing well. 6.3 million viewers per episode, which is pretty great. It follows an attorney who I don't know much about this show. It follows an attorney. I wish I could tell you more. It's kind of been a crazy day, and I'm kind of pulling off some stuff that I was supposed to do on Friday, but here we are. So this show is coming back for a second season. If you're a fan of So Help Me Todd, get ready. More is coming. And with that, yes, we also have a no with Kindred. Kindred is being canceled. Now, Kindred's an FX show, and it's one of those things where FX usually gives their shows more opportunity to go more than a season 1. They'll actually do reshoots for their shows to make sure they go further than a season 1. It debuted December 13th, 8 episodes, and they said already, we're not going to move forward with this. FX said it's just not doing well, so no Kindred if you're a fan. But it's about a woman who was pulled back in time to the 19th century, and all these shenanigans happen. But everybody, it's not happening anymore, so goodbye to Kindred. Goodbye. Terrible. I know, right? Joanna, you have something to say about Kindred? Did you watch it?
No, never heard of it before in my life. And that's how it should be when shows get canceled.
I know, right? That's the thing. It did eight episodes, and they said goodbye to it. They said, "No, we're not going to do that."
Bye, Kindred.
It sounded like a piece of crap, so I'm going to support the cancellation of Kindred.
Like a piece of crap.
It sure did.
Unless you're on for like.
Pull me back to the 19th century. I'm going to hard
5.
pass on that. Let me stop you right there, PBS. We're going to be done with that idea.
They were
today.
trying. I mean, and this thing about FX, they don't usually cancel shows after one season, like I said. So it's really kind of unheard
It
of.
also doesn't sound like an FX show. Like, look at FX. It's like American Horror Story. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then pull me back to the 19th century. Like, this doesn't seem like a good fit, period.
Yeah.
They
And that's probably why.
talked to us about it.
They should have went to.
For sure.
They should
Of
have
course.
called us.
They maybe should have went to Hulu.
They don't know the production team
Right?
that we have here.
Yeah, we could maybe we could have better with it. You never know. You never know, and we never will know because it's gone away, everybody. No more Kindred. If you're a fan, if you watched the first season, you're like, what's going to happen? Well, nothing. Nothing's going to happen.
Kindness?
Bye.
Is it called kindness?
Kindred.
Kindress?
Kindred.
Kindress?
It's an actual word. Kindress is not a word.
Yeah, I don't think it's a word, actually.
Kindress is not a word.
He's putting
And-
Pinterest and Kindred together.
No, I'm not.
He's
not even
I
putting
didn't put a
Kindred
B in there.
Because Pinterest has a T on the end and Kindress doesn't. So
Well, it sounded to me like he said Kindrest.
Yeah. But with that show being gone,
Sounded like a
everybody,
T.
with that show being gone, of course, there's another show that's moving forward, and that's Jared McCarmichael. Carmichael. I want to call him
Oh,
Mick
boy.
Carmichael. Jared Carmichael actually has a show moving forward with HBO Max. Now you say, is it a comedy show? Well, no, it's a show that actually follows Carmichael's day-to-day life, exploring the comic's relationships with his family, his friends, his strangers, all in the quest for love, sex, and connection. And that's the whole log line. So that's moving forward at HBO Max.
I just fell asleep there for a quick
I
second.
think it's
Yeah.
Gerard.
Gerard.
Yeah.
As I told
Well,
you,
he's
we're
I'm
gonna
having
flash
deja vu.
back
Like,
to the Golden
It's the
Globe.
thing. The Golden
Yeah.
Globe is.
Like, he'll always be Jared to me. And that's what
Yeah.
I said. And I'm going to stick to that. And I'm like, is Gerard's life that interesting on the daily? Like, this is
Well,
what we're going to say.
I don't know. I
I
do
think
know
this
he
is
told
also
us he
some-
made $500,000, so maybe this parlayed into this because
Maybe like
Yeah.
$500,000 a day. Maybe he's like a Kim Kardashian type.
Well, I think this kind of happened too because of the Golden Globes, like he has all this acknowledgement from that. He's in the know. People know who he is. They've been watching him. They saw him on there. If they haven't seen him before, they're probably going to check out his comedy specials now. And so now there's an opportunity for Gerard to have a show. And so HBO Max is just jumping on that. And it's kind of a reality show too, so it probably writes itself, So for them, it's probably a great thing.
they're teeing up for this writer's strike that's coming in like T-minus 2 months.
Good.
Yeah.
Minus
Good.
2 months.
That was
I
Well-
mean,
unemployment.
Yep.
that's easy,
Well-
Jake. Call us.
Well, as HBO Max says hello to Gerard,
Mhm.
well, everyone's saying that we're not going to have Austin Butler's accent as Elvis anymore. He says, I'm done with that. I've worked on it. It's going away. He's shooting the Dune 2 right now movie, the sequel to Dune that came out last year. And he's saying that his accent's gone. He's going to be a brooding, evil character. So you're not going to hear him be Elvis anymore. That's going away.
Well,
So-
shut up.
I don't know if I
To be
believe that.
fair, he was Elvis at the Golden Globes, and that was like 5 minutes ago. So I'm not really
I'm
sure
not
what's
gonna
happening.
lie. I
He needs to
respected
take it
him
down.
more. I respected him more when he stuck with the accent like Madonna, right? Like she's
Mhm.
from friggin' Iowa. She does not have a British accent,
Nope.
but she picked
She
that
did come
shit
in
up
hot.
and stuck with it for the whole time. And I commit to. I'm like, I commend you
Yeah.
because that is a good thing. Like then you're like, oh, this is just something that has become a part of you, and that's what they should have done. He should have been like, what do you mean accent? This isn't my. This is just how I speak.
He kind of did say that though. He was like, "Oh, I still have it." What? And everyone's like, yeah."
But then
Like,
he
Yeah.
said it's going away. It doesn't.
But
no.
You should just.
No.
To be fair, I think he kind of always is sounding like Elvis a little bit. When I've heard him before when he was younger, it's not that much different. It's just heavier, I think, for the movie. It's just heavier. But he's saying it's going away. He said that they're not going to do that anymore. He's realized people are saying this, and he said his new character is much more in depth, much more intense, whole different voice. Comes out November 3rd, Dune Part 2. So we're going to only have to wait to find out.
Him.
But did it go? But here's the
Yeah,
real
he
question:
did it.
did it go away for the movie, or were people after this Elvis movie came out and after he was still speaking like, "Oh, you sound like Elvis still," and he was like, "Oh crap!" So is it going to be in Dune 2? That's the question. Does the
Well,
does that stay the accent will it be there? I mean, we don't know.
He claims it's gone. That's what he was saying in interviews. He claims it's gone.
He
Done
also
with
claims
it.
he didn't know he had it. So I don't really know
I
how I
wouldn't be
feel.
claiming anything. I would just go on with my life. Don't claim anything. Don't about your accent.
Just your dependent.
Go on with your
Just
life.
your dependent.
Right?
Just keep going. Just keep going. Just stop talking.
Preach.
Just act and do what you're doing. Just
Do
shut
your
up.
thing.
You're on a roll. Let that roll
You're on a
go.
roll.
Let it go.
You're rolling down the river.
Stupid.
Well, as he says goodbye, he says goodbye to that accent. They're saying hello. Netflix is saying hello to a season 2 of that 90s show. That 90s show is moving forward for a season 2. It's happening, everybody. They've greenlit it. I guess it's doing very well over there at Netflix. So they're like, hey, let's bring Red back. Let's make this happen. Let's keep the show moving. Which I don't know. I haven't had a chance to really watch much of it. The little bit I saw, I'm not too excited about it. So I don't know.
912. The 912.
You don't even know. You don't even know the zip code. You should probably have
that 90s show.
Oh,
but with that 90s show also going away, we also have another thing. It's not 90s show staying, I should say. That 90s show staying. Well, something that someone says no about is Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is saying no to the Marvel movies. He's saying that they're just not for him. He's saying, I think that Kevin Feige's a brilliant guy, and I think there's a lot of filmmakers he's hired to make movies are great filmmakers, but this is for kids. It's not for me. And it's just not for me. I just won't watch these movies. I don't like them. That's not me. So I thought that was kind of interesting to say. Like, everyone loves the Marvel movies, but he's like, nah. So I don't think you're going to see Seth Rogen in a Marvel movie anytime soon. So
were they knocking his door down to be in the Marvel movies?
No, but he did DC movie before. He was the Green Hornet before, and that didn't do too well.
It did not do well. Let's talk about that. Additionally, I don't know that I would just shut up. Like what Chris was saying before about being like, maybe just shut up is Austin Butler. Just shut up and like continue on with your life.
Just make your money.
I don't know that I would come out at any point. First of all, obviously Marvel is like a huge, that's just an entity all of its own, right? Like I'm not going to come up against God. So I'm not going to come up against Marvel. I'm just going to let that huge pie in the sky continue along and do what it's going to do. And if they want to cut me any piece of that pie, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll come back. Yeah, let's do it. So I think Seth Rogen should maybe make a joke instead and make the money and just keep Marvel moving.
You mean the joke like, why are we doing the People's Choice Awards on the CW, which is the only network that has 0
which was great.
things nominated for the People's
That was awesome when he did
that joke.
That was
but this could be because he felt a little burned because of Green Hornet back in the day, or just he just doesn't think this is for him,
Seems
which is
a little bit late
fine.
for that.
It's not for everybody. Like Lexi said, it's not for her. So maybe it's not for everybody, It's just like some people don't like the Marvel universe. Some people do. It's the same thing with the DC stuff. People are like, it's too dark, and some people love that darkness, So it just
seems weird like that you would choose to say that in a statement. Like, who gives a fuck what your opinion is? Seth Rogen,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, he says no to this though. Harrison Ford is saying yes to a 1923. They're doing a second season. Apparently, they're moving forward with this. Him and Helen Mirren are both coming back. It's going to be on Paramount Plus as well. Of course, the initial season or the first episodes have done like 7.4 million views per episode.
It was the year he was born, so it works out.
Rude.
So it's doing really well. So we're like, let's just keep it going. Let's keep this train moving. And as they say yes to that, the DGA is saying, no, we're not going to be the first people to move forward with negotiations. They're saying no. They don't know. Like the producers aren't budging for this. They don't think that it's going to work out the way that they want it to work out. So they're saying, no, we're not going to be the first people to move forward. They have a lot they have to bring to the table to us to make us happy, which again leads towards the potential strike. So the DGA is saying, no, we're not starting this. They're starting it, and we'll see where it goes from there. With that, I want to ask a quick question because you two, everybody here is kind of involved with this. What do you think, as we're talking about now, Chris and Joanna, think this is a bad thing, a bad sign for the potential writer's strike and the DGA strike?
I think it lines up with the fact that they definitely think the writers are going to strike. And so even though they don't want to be the first people in that crossfire, I think that it lines them up with what everybody inevitably knows is going to happen. That's how I feel about it. I feel like they don't want to be those people. So, I mean, we talked about this the last time I was on the show, which was about being like, the money needs to start flowing down instead of up into all these networks' pockets. I feel like the networks are, very about themselves and not about all of the people who are doing the work and putting in the time. And I think if they put in a little bit more money into the pockets of the writers, the directors, and everybody else involved in the production, then these sort of moments wouldn't affect our lives because they wouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So it's just this whole situation drives me nuts, Joanna. The whole situation drives me nuts. Sabrina, what do you think? What do you think about this? Do you think that this is a bad sign?
I mean, I wholeheartedly believe, as I've said many times, that there will be a strike, period. Like, they have the DGA that will get behind him. SAG-AFTRA, which is a bunch of pussies, might also pony up and get behind them. And we all know that the writers are the most willing to strike out of every single union in Hollywood. So I feel that there is a 2% chance that there won't be a strike, come April. So I think that that's where we're headed. This is more proof of that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, only time will tell. As the DGA says no to this, so they're not going to be the first people moving forward with the negotiations. Well,
because they want to jump on the writers' bandwagon.
They do. They're going to wait. But as they say no, there's also a yes to this. There's a new movie being in development right now, and it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Octavia Spencer. Octavia? I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Octavia Spencer and Lucy Liu. And it's called, and I think this is funny, it's called Nobody, Nothing, Nowhere. So it feels like there's a rip-off of everything, everyone.
All the time.
All at once.
Everybody everywhere. 24/7.
They're having fun with this. Well, it's the story of this whole premise. So, the story of Ruth, who is a non-human, and they're living in this environment where there's this guy named Dave. So Dave pretty much is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The whole world is gone. All of humanity is gone. It's just Dave left over, and they have all these non-human robots that are living in the world to make him feel like life is still existing on Earth. But one of the non-humans decides to be like, no, I'm not going to fall into this ploy anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to live my own life. And then shenanigans entail in this whole situation. Now, it's a huge cast, but again, it seems like they're, kind of diving into the everything everywhere all at once and trying to get on that bandwagon and maybe still, I mean, if anything, it's just marketing wise towards them, right? Like, people might want to go see this because it's a play on words. Sabrina, what do you think about this when you hear about this? Does this sound like an interesting movie for you, and is something you'd see, or do you think this is just dumb?
Well, I think the idea is very different than Everything Everywhere All at Once, but the name absolutely 100% echoes that, So reading it, I'm like, what the is this some sort of a weird spinoff? And it's not at all, because obviously it's not about a multiverse. It's about a universe where only one person exists, which I guess is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and everyone else is there.
Yeah.
It reminds me more of Free Guy, actually, than it does of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which was a huge comedy. These are three very great, dramatic actors, and I think it could be amazing. I think it's definitely worth a look. I just don't like that it's named, so similarly
I know, right?
to Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's my problem.
The premise sounds good. Lexi agrees, sounds good. I think it does. I think it sounds like it could be fun. Again, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I've worked for him a few times back in the past, and he's an awesome guy, awesome human being. Octavia Spencer's.
They should have.
Did they what? They come up with this one?
This one?
Not yet, but it doesn't start till shooting until summer, so there's still time. Still time.
Will it start shooting in this? I mean, what's going on? Who's to say? Everything's up in the air. But call you. Basically, call Brian Kruse.
Come on, give me a call. Chris and Joanna, does this sound good to you, the premise of this, or are you kind of like, this is not for you?
No, I have kids.
Let me just tell you a little story about my friend over here, Chris PANICO. He gives everything a solid 3 minutes, and then he's literally like, "This isn't gonna work out," and that's pretty much everything. Did Sabrina just walk out on you? She was like, "We're done."
She's done.
She's like, "Nobody, nowhere, never." That's me. I'm going. But the point is that Chris doesn't give anything a significant period of time to pique his interest. His Pinterest.
Come on, Chris. Give it a chance, man.
Is that not true?
No, I give things time.
How long did you give the Fablemans? Let's talk about it.
2 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
That's not enough time, Chris.
2 minutes. I was like, you can watch this on your own.
You said you can watch it on your own.
I go, because we usually watch, we
watch things together.
We watch things together. I was like, you go
he
ahead
gave me
and
permission.
watch it. I
was
did
like,
not know.
watch
This
it
is
by
not
yourself.
Handmaid's Tale.
No, it is.
No,
a little bit.
this
It's
is not Handmaid's
19,
Tale.
His
I'm not saying-
1923.
No, I did not give you permission. I said, go ahead and watch it.
Does that
This is
not
like
sound
futuristic, though.
I mean, that sounds like permission. I think it's an interesting concept. None of the actors specifically are like pulling me. Like, I'm like, oh, I would watch it for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, he's great. He's very talented.
He's great.
But I'm not necessarily like he's my draw. Like, he's my guy. He's
Put
not my guy.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Put Jennifer.
I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I'm in.
And,
Yeah.
100%.
and I'm in.
Call me every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that'd be great if she was in it. She's amazing. Of course, she's blowing
She
up
was
right
in the
now,
movie
but
that we watched last night that I
That
couldn't
he
stand.
also hated. That we had on for 3.5 minutes, and he was like, "I want to turn
It was
this off."
it was like a student film.
It was the
Runaway
J-
Bride?
What?
It was the,
Yeah,
yes,
Runaway Bride. Runaway
yes,
Bride.
It was like
with
a
Runaway
J-Lo
Bride?
and yes, with J-Lo and Josh Duhamel.
It was a student like a student film going on.
It was
And
good.
then when
Honestly,
she came on, it
I was
was
like,
They're promoting.
Coolidge.
They are promoting the shit out of that movie. Every day when I drive
I
home from
know.
work, there's at least 52 billboards. And
Yes.
that's not even an exaggeration.
Yes.
52 billboards
yeah,
from West Adams to North Hollywood. I swear to God. It's
on the
insane.
radio. They're blasting it on the radio too. They're
Chris
like,
is like,
check out the.
How
I'm
is
like,
this
what is
free?
going
He
on?
goes, oh, it's free. It can't be good. And I was like, no, I was like, it is. He did not want to give it 3 minutes. And then Jennifer Coolidge was in it and was like, we'll give it 8 minutes. And he was like, this is the worst movie I have ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah. Right.
well, back to a nothing, nobody, nothing, and nowhere. Ty was saying it sounds great too. A lot of people seem interested in it. I did too when I heard about this. That's why I brought it up today, because it just seemed like it could be a great premise. It's an independent film, so that's kind of what Joe likes to gravitate towards. So we'll see how it develops and where it goes. But as Joe is playing this character named Dave in this, I want to talk about another Dave. My favorite Dave Bautista now. As I keep joking about good old Dave. Bautista. So as everybody knows, Knock at the Cabin is out. It apparently has already made $14.2 million this weekend out of a modest budget of $20 million. So they're doing pretty great. It knocked Avatar out for #1 movie of the weekends. It made more money than Avatar this weekend. Avatar only made $10 million, but still Avatar's raking money in left and right. And it's doing really great. It just is. And it's one of those movies where they're saying that, I read multiple articles saying that, oh, it's going to be like a different kind of M. Night movie because there's not going to be this big twist. Then other people are saying, well, that's the best twist ever. Chris and Joanna, do you like M. Night's work? And do you think this movie, have you seen the trailers for this? And do you think this looks good?
Here's my thing. Thanks for asking. I'm so glad you did. I was a huge fan of M. Night for the first 84 disappointments. And then I was like, kind of over it.
He had a couple.
You
Disappointment.
gave up on him, huh?
He had a couple.
He had a couple really good movies.
yes,
he
that's
just
where
very
he
proved
got
himself at the beginning, right? Like he did
Right.
Signs
So
and
he
all that.
did not. Yeah.
And then suddenly he hit a snafu, where like nothing was good for a long time. And now I don't care.
So that, well, you're gonna make a comeback.
Well, everyone's good for a comeback. He's not my favorite anymore. I lost faith and hope in him
Why?
because
Yeah.
he didn't deliver. Kind of like Gerard
Well,
did not deliver
nobody
for
could
me.
deliver.
So I was not like, let me just keep giving you
You
chances.
can't deliver every single time.
If you don't
You
deliver,
can't. You can't.
He delivered once. He delivered once. It was
Well,
called The
he
Sixth
delivered
Sense.
more than
No,
once.
That's not true.
No.
He delivered more
no.
than once.
Oh, I'm
He-
sorry.
he
What part
delivered-
of Alien was great? What part of Signs? I'm sorry, Signs.
Signs.
I
I
was
like
like,
Signs. The water thing was weird at the end.
Hard pass. How about
Wait,
The
Glass
Happening?
was great.
Hard pass.
Well, The Happening is a piece of shit.
How about the
Mark
one where they
Wahlberg
were
yelling
living
at
in a
plants.
weird 19th
Yeah.
century town on the side of the freeway?
He
What the fuck was that
delivered-
shithole movie called?
yeah.
Signs was great though. Glass
No,
was great.
What was
Did
that?
he
What
watch
movie
Um,
are you talking
Sixth
about?
Sense.
God
Sixth Sense
damn.
was great.
No, what's the one where they lived on the side of the freeway? They lived, it was like an 18th century town with Adrian Brody, and they lived on the side of a fucking
Oh
freeway.
yeah. Where
Like
was
if you
all
walked 3 feet out, it was a
Yes.
freeway, and it was
Hold on,
2022.
I'm gonna look it up.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
the
not sure
worst
about that one.
ever.
His last one was
Like,
old.
wearing clothes on, but it was literally like they lived in like a sub pod.
Yes,
like
There was like that. Yes, but it was
I'm
really
familiar.
2019. It was
Anyways,
I'm gonna look it up.
he's
Well, this-
delivered a bunch of times, but
No, he delivered once, and then also The
No, he
Servant
did
is what
not.
I'll give him.
The
I'll give
Servant's
him
great.
Twice. That's it.
His
what
last movie,
Oh,
Old,
Glass.
wasn't that good.
Glass was really good. You're right.
I said Glass.
3
Yeah,
I
times.
never saw it.
Right.
I said you're
So good.
right. So rein it in, bud.
What's
So
that,
good.
Unbreakable. What?
Oh, The Village. Wasn't it The Village?
Yeah. The Village. The
was
Village.
fun.
The Village. Yes,
Yeah.
biggest
That's
piece of
what
shit
I'm
in
talking
cinematic history.
That's not
Terrible.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
Shh.
Is Adrian Brody in that, Joanna?
Unbreakable was
No.
what?
Unbreakable. That's
But-
what I mean, not Glass. Unbreakable. Adrian Brody was in The Village, correct?
Let me just check.
I don't think so. But Old just came out too,
Adrian
and Rachel commented.
Yeah, Adrian Brody, isn't it? Thank you, Joanna.
I don't
Fuck
remember
the
doing
Brian.
that. I guess it's been too long. Lady in the Water wasn't that good either. I don't know if anybody saw Lady in the Water.
Nightmare. Lady in the Pass.
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah, it wasn't that great. Paul Giamatti was great in it, but overall, I don't think it was that
He's
good of a
great in
movie.
everything.
And that Old movie, like Rachel said again, as if by Old was insane. It was dumb. It was just dumb. They go to a beach and they start getting older and older and older, and they can't leave. That was kind of dumb too. But I agree with Rachel on that. Sabrina, what do you think though about Knock at the Cabin? You got Dave Bautista, you got Rupert Grint. What do you think about this? You got 2 great actors already in this, and it looks awesome. It looks really
Who's the
interesting.
great actor? Wait. Who's the great actor?
Rupert Everett? Is that who
Oh,
it is?
Rupert Grint?
No, the guy from
Ron?
Harry Potter, Ron Weasley from Harry Potter,
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
thought
Dave
it was- I thought
Bautista.
it
So let's not push 2
Bautista.
great actors. Like
Bautista.
rein it in with that. They're 2,
Whoa.
entertaining people.
Sabrina, what do you think about Knock at the Cabin?
Sabrina.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna watch it because I like Dave Bautista, and I've recently become fond of Ron Weasley since we watched The Servant, which is also an M. Night thing. But previous to The Servant, I honestly would not watch another one of his movies because it's kind of a nightmare. But The Servant is really good, so I will go see this.
I keep giving him a try every time. I think that his stuff's interesting always, but a lot of times the twists become too much for me, which happens. Poor Dave. He deserves to be in the better film. Dave actually said in an interview that he was really excited about this because it was challenging him. It was harder than Drax and everything because he had so many monologues. Yeah, a lot of monologues. He said it was really hard for him, but fulfilling, which is great. But,
I mean, that's as an actor, aren't you about like dialogue and monologues?
No, he's saying he was excited that he had more because he's a wrestler originally. So
Okay,
they give him a couple lines here and there, like
Right,
but I'm saying he hasn't really had a chance to like carry a movie except he was in that one movie with the kid, but like other than that, he hasn't. He feels like he hasn't been given a chance to shine.
Right, he's not The Rock. He's not.
And he
My
thinks
spine
he's
was really
shining
cool,
in
too.
this. He genuinely
not-
thinks he's shining in this.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, is what we're saying.
Well, I wanted to see it over the weekend, but probably have to see it this week or next week sometime. To me, it looks good, but it's just one of those things that it's M. Night, and of course, M. Night, it's always what's the twist, or what's it gonna be, how's it gonna work, So we'll see. Everyone's raving about it though online, so I don't know.
Apocalypse. That's what I know.
We'll see.
There's an apocalypse in there.
But anyways, as it knocked out James Cameron's Avatar from #1 box office of the weekend, I want to talk about James Cameron a little bit because James Cameron also came up in the news recently when he was talking about Titanic. Now, Titanic, again, is coming back out for Valentine's Day. We talked about that in the show. And since it's coming back out for Valentine's Day so it can make more money, of course, it just got knocked out as it was #3 highest grossing movies of all time. Now it's #4, and Avatar: The Way of Water overturned it. And now that's the #3 movie, highest grossing of all time, which is one thing. But James Cameron's talking about the whole conspiracy of the door in the water with Jack and Kate, right? Jack and Rose.
Yeah.
Jack and Rose.
Rose.
Yes. So he decided because of the anniversary, he said, I'm going to put it to test. I'm going to put a board in the water. I'm going to get 2 people to play the characters, and we're going to see if Jack could actually live and put it to rest once and for all. Now now he did this test, and at the end of the whole thing, here's kind of what he had to say about the whole situation with this. That it was, it was troubling. People kept wanting to cancel it, and that. I mean, I just feel like he had problems with this over and all for years, that people were giving him shit that, like, you can save Jack. Like, why didn't she save Jack? They put a life jacket on this guy, and I guess if they were both on the board at the same time and she had given his life jacket to him, They would have both lived. He would have been
I
able
don't
to
think anyone
survive for
needed a life
hours.
jacket. They could have just been
No,
on the fucking
no.
board. It was tremendous.
But here, let me just explain. Let me just explain for a second.
We
Let
all
me just
saw it. You don't
explain.
need
Hey,
to explain. We saw it.
Time out.
I
So
really
James Cameron said that if Rose would have given him her life jacket and would have made him dry up a little bit so he wouldn't have like froze to death and he would have lasted multiple hours on that board, and if they both would have shared it, that he would have lived. But at the end of the day, Jack wouldn't do that because he wanted her to live and he didn't care about his own life, and so he died so she could live.
Well,
So
that's a stupid comment.
but he still didn't say, he still wouldn't admit that it was, that he lived, that he could have lived.
But
Now,
clearly-
that being said, what do you think, Joanna?
Okay, I'm gonna pop in. I'm gonna pop in on this one because not only is Leonardo DiCaprio, sorry, block your ears, my real husband and love of my life, but first of all, let me just quickly also say I'm surprised they're going to re-release it for Valentine's Day, and I'm like, oh, what a great Valentine's story.
It's a money grab.
It originally released right around Christmas. And so they're like, we're just going to re-release it around all the major love holidays. Like, that's what we're going to do, which I find hilarious. But additionally, I'm like, clearly Rose was also not about him living, because if she had been, she would have worked harder while she was in the stupid water in the life vest on the door to be like, let's find a way. Like, let's find a way for both of us to make it. Instead, she was like, no, you chill in the water. Chances are you're not going to make it. But I'm going to go on to live a wonderfully happy life and hopefully ride side saddle on every horse I run into from here to Timbuktu. Any thoughts? You have anything to say?
Yeah, what do you think, Chris? Do you think that he's wrong, that Jack would have lived and that she should have shared the door? And do you think it's funny that he's doing this now, like 25 years later?
Yeah, I thought this was brought up like years and years ago. Like
keeps coming up. That's why he's addressing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was Jack, I'd be like, can you just get the move over a little bit?
He literally just threw me off an ottoman. And we are
That's
not in frigid cold water where there are sharks and things below us. He literally just tossed me from the ottoman at the beginning because they needed his shirt to have full frontal center stage situations. So clearly they're not the same person.
Anyways,
that's not a thing.
He got away with it, and so he made a lot of money. Sabrina,
What?
what do you think?
Yes. What do you think about this, Sabrina? Do you think that it's a good thing that he did this test now, or do you think it doesn't even matter anymore?
Are you
People have
fucking
made their own
kidding? Like,
judgments.
first of all,
Like, what do you think?
He did the stupid test, and he was like, well, in some scenarios, Jack lives. Yeah, in all scenarios, Jack lives. He weighed 4 pounds. He was like the size of her thigh. He could have just easily hurled himself up on that board, and everything would have been fine. He could have laid on top of her. He could have laid next to her. He could have sat on her fucking face. It would have been fine. He weighed 4 pounds. It is ridiculous that he froze to death in that fucking water. If she would have given him the life jacket, are you kidding? The life jacket?
That was the big thing.
Water freezing to death with his frigid little hand holding onto her, and she's like beached on this giant door. Ridiculous.
He rigor mortis himself.
Yeah, and then his hand, she had to like rip his poor cold dead hand. And then he fell into the water. And she was like, oh my God, how about you let him on the fucking door, lady? Ridiculous.
Yeah, this is what everyone's fighting about for years now, For years, everyone's been mad about this shit.
And you want to call it a love story? The love story would have been if he got on the goddamn door. That is not a love story. She let him die.
Little known fact, I originally thought that she ripped off his thumb. If you think about when I saw
and the sound
times, I thought she ripped his thumb off and he went down into the water.
She might have. She might have. She literally sentenced him to death by putting him in that water. So she could have broke his thumb. She broke his whole body. He's dead. She murdered him.
His spirit. He no longer is with us.
Murdered him. Well, I'm glad she went through all the effort to cut him out while all the water was rising to get him out of them handcuffs so she could murder him in the water.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, James Cameron.
That's a good point.
You should have just left him there and to drown because he was going to drown anyway because you're fat. Yeah. Like, just stop.
Well, she wanted to be with him in those last moments. She loved him. She held on to him for dear life.
If she loved him, she would have pulled him on the fucking goddamn door, Brian.
She held on to him?
They even did tests to see like if they were exhausted. They had these two stand-ins like reenacting it, like paddling in the water really hard and being all exhausted to see if that would cause them to actually be able to live. It's just a weird test to me. It's like, was the water freezing cold that they did this?
You could have done anything but what they did, and he would have lived. That is the test.
She went.
Period.
What Sabrina just said is 100%. She went with the thing and she tried
with a hatchet.
She went back
to save him.
She looked really good. Doing it.
He's like, she was looking great.
But
and then she was like, bye. See you later.
Yeah. And
she was like,
and of course, we keep going back to this. We keep watching it, wanting to, debate this topic. It's just been happening for years. So he finally addressed it, which is good that he finally addressed. Because for years he's saying that we're silly. He even said this whole thing is like he can't believe this has been going on for so long, and that people are so worried about this. And it's like,
I'm sure Brooklyn, who is their 3-year-old daughter, would be like, "Why isn't he on the fucking door, mommy?" Like, I mean, anyone can notice that he could fit on that door with her. It is ridiculous.
She would have been like, "Get up on the door,
you.
Daddy." I'm just saying.
Door, Daddy, door.
Yeah, she would have.
Well, James Cameron is known, as we've talked about forever, about the computer graphics, special effects, making these great movies. Well, something else in the news is not so great with special effects that's moving forward, but also is probably going to be very influential in film and television. And that is this new show, which I don't know how I can call this a show, called Nothing Forever. All right. Nothing Forever is a show that's made on Twitch, and it's AI generated, the whole thing. So a computer made the show. They made all the characters. They do all the voiceover, and they made it like Seinfeld. It looks like Seinfeld, but it's a computer-made show that came out. So it's going nuts on Twitch. There's like 80,000 people that are watching this thing, and it's horrible. If you check it out, it is fucking horrible. It's called, if you want to find it, it's at Watch Me Forever. That's where it is at Twitch. You can find the show. It looks like The Sims or something like that. They're all blockhead characters. They're moving around. They're talking. Horrible. They have a laugh track on it. I mean, it's a combination of like machine learning generated algorithms and cloud services to build the show. It's weird. Like I said, it's a really odd thing. And I saw this, it debuted December 14th, and people have been watching it. It's got this big uproar, but it's mostly about the comments section. People go nuts about leaving comments about this show, Nothing Forever. They even have breakaways where they show like, it's a Jerry Seinfeld character doing stand-up, but he's like, what's the deal with scooters? And there's a laugh track goes, ha, 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 ha. And he's like, thank you. And then it moves on. So, I mean, this show is like really weird. But it could be a thing where it could change how they make movies someday. I mean, this is bare bones bullshit in the beginning, but it could lead to actually generating a whole show. If a computer can do it like this, what happens down the line? Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think about this? A computer generated show, and you think this is dumb that people are watching it so much, and or scary where it could lead in the future? Sabrina, you're muted. Sabrina, you're muted. Sabrina, we can't hear you.
Jesus Christ, give me a second to click the mouse. I watched literally 2 minutes of this and wanted to kill myself, and I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. It was super weird, not funny at all. There were like huge lags in like beats like that you could drive a truck through. Like exactly like Brian's impression. He was like, what's the deal with scooters? Like not funny at all. Nothing is fucking funny. The laugh track is super weird. The jokes like don't land. I have no idea why this has gained any traction. I have zero fear of it in the future. It seems super fucking dumb. I mean, there are video games that are way more equipped and more AI like than this nonsense. I mean, it's ridiculous. It looks like pixels. It's like a pixelated ish like Seinfeld person. I don't know. I think it's very stupid. I don't know why it's gained so much traction.
I like that. There's like a Minecraft game, kind of looks like that too. It's really weird. It looks like PlayStation 1 graphics. And as Rachel said in the comics, Twitch will probably blow over and people will stop talking about it. But the idea of the technology, what drives me crazy, I'm like, look at this. You have a computer making a whole show, and all they did was like, we want a show about nothing, and they made Seinfeld, which is weird, and it makes all the voices and everything. Chris and Joanna, when you hear about this... To be clear,
the voices don't sound anything like the actual voices. They
just
generate AI voices.
I was watching it.
Yeah.
You were affected?
Offended.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, do you like it at all, or do you think it's just dumb?
It's dumb.
Are you nervous about where it could go?
No.
Am I nervous?
No.
Yeah. Think about how this show could eventually have a computer making a whole TV show. Then what's the point of actors?
Remember, this reminds me of that awesome, there's like a word picture thing on social media that's like what we thought 2015 was going to be like, flying cars. What 2015 actually was like, don't eat Tide Pods. Right? Like, so it shows like there's obviously the span of being like, obviously we thought we were going to be a lot further along than we were. And just, I think, pointed out, and you mentioned too, this was very like Atari graphics. Like, why are we returning to something that was 30-something years old and it's no better than it was then? Like, this is no better than that. So I'm like, that's where I kind of am, is like, if this was better, like, I definitely see things like it, as far as gaming goes, right? Where it's like in PlayStation 5 and things, like new games that are coming out where I'm like, oh, these computer images actually look like humans. Like they actually look like people, which I find interesting, impressive, and a little scary. But when we're looking at something that is literally
make it look like The Sims?
Yeah, I mean, it literally doesn't even look as good as The Sims. And The Sims, I didn't want to play in the 90s. Like, I had no interest in playing The Sims when it came out. I had no interest 12 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 days ago. I still have zero interest. So why am I going to watch this?
Even the sexual version?
No, even the sexual version. No interest.
No interest.
A fish playing Pokemon was big on Twitch a few years ago, Rachel said. Yeah, they just make things. And if you see, here's a picture of the actual character that's Seinfeld. You can see on the screen right now. Like, it's just odd. It's weird. And I just saw it and I was like, how is this a thing that's becoming so blown up? But again, it's Twitch. So again, it could be done in a heartbeat. But I just look at it from one aspect being like, where can that go? It seems dumb right now, but me as a person looking at the future, maybe it'll be a thing where they start making cartoons like this, you know? I don't know. And they had multiple camera angles. They had a whole thing set up. It wasn't just like one shot the whole time. So the computer's trying to learn and make a TV show. Where can that go? That's technology these days. It just blows my mind. It's not good, but it could be better and it could lead the way for something else. That's all I'm saying. So talking about nothing forever, though, that's kind of what I feel like when I hear about Meghan Markle. Nothing forever. So Meghan Markle is back in the news again. And it's only because, it's because Spare came out, Harry's book came out. And I guess they were expecting an apology afterwards. They thought that the royal family would come forward and say, okay, we got to work this out. We're sorry about everything that went down. We didn't know you felt so bad. Well, no apologies come, Meghan. And there's nothing happening. Then they've been saying that no one's reached out to them. There's no word. He was hoping his family would actually eventually welcome him back. And he wants to have them in their lives, but nothing's happening. I think they're pissed. And they bought this house for $14.65 million. And they were complaining about how they don't have enough money to buy this mansion. And yet they still bought it because their life's so hard. I mean, first world problems. That's not even first world problems. You have 16 bathroom house now in Montego, and it's like, and you're complaining about your life, and you have everything. There's some people that have nothing, and you're just bitching about nothing. And you still bought that $15 million house, What do you do?
You start a show called Bitchin' in the Kitchen, and then you, as Meghan and Harry, and you get your millions of followers. Maybe you start a GoFundMe. I don't know. Maybe be like, I need this 700 million square foot mansion with full walls outside so that people can't take pictures of us. I don't feel bad for them. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel bad for them.
I don't feel bad for them.
No.
I don't.
Did you watch the documentary at all, Chris and Joanna?
Yes. We watched it.
We did.
We thought about it every day.
Sabrina and I.
We thought about it.
He's on Harry and Meghan's side. He's hashtag Meghan.
No, because
I was hashtag royal family. We have a special
God, Jesus.
Hey, Brooklyn.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
All right.
I was wondering if you two watched it though, and if you liked it. Yeah. Because this is all leading into what we're doing now. It's like what they're doing, what they're going to do forward. Sabrina, you saw Meghan and Harry. What do you think about this? Do you think this was You feel bad for her at all, or you're just kind of like, okay, just stop complaining, you know? Like, how do you feel about this situation? Are you surprised, Sabrina, that they actually? I think you're muted again. Are you surprised that they're actually expecting an apology? Oh.
Yeah, obviously. What are you expecting an apology for airing everybody's dirty laundry on national fucking television everywhere? Like if like she was my friend, obviously I am not royal or famous, right? If she was my fucking friend and she just put that on Twitter and like Facebook, I'd be like, guess what? No longer friends ever again. Go fuck yourself. How dare you go on national television and fucking make a documentary about how awful the British family was and then expect them to come and apologize to you? And then he writes a book about all of these crazy things that happened and what a douchebag his brother was and the things that his dad did and expect them to come and apologize to you? Well, because you could have actually had a conversation with them instead of writing a book or doing this documentary. You could have actually had a conversation with your family and then maybe you could have salvaged your relationship. But instead, you chose to go out there and do all of this shit behind their back and then now you expect them to grovel at your feet? No.
They won't contact him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
No, but he tried.
Yeah. He's tried, but he's also, but by bringing this stuff out, Chris, it messes his whole family dynamic up, though. You know what you're getting yourself into by doing this.
Yeah. This is the royal family, okay? There are very specific fucking rules that apply to the royal family.
Right. It's a family, though.
Well, that's the thing that you're right. They have to know, like, they know what they got themselves into being part of this family. Like, when 100%. She married him, she knew. She knew what she was getting herself into.
He grew up that way. He grew up in that house.
But I do feel bad for him in a lot of ways, too. Like Chris said, I do feel bad that he can't have his family dynamic anymore. But unfortunately, like, you know where you grew up. You know the house you grew up in. Like, you know what the deal is. Yeah. No, they're talking about taking away their titles, too.
He is super. They already took away their titles, didn't they?
Yeah, no, they're not officially gone yet. They're like still being called.
I don't really give a shit. I feel bad for him that he was raised as like a second-class citizen in that fucking house, even though he was royalty because he was a spare heir. And that is basically like, I understand his plight. At the same time, you cannot expect to air your entire family's dirty laundry and expect them to come groveling back to you. That is insane. It's insane.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted. They expected an apology.
I mean, that's never gonna fucking happen.
But
Chris, did you expect them to get an apology though?
Yeah.
You thought they would? I mean, I didn't think they would. I think if anything, I was expecting that they would come out and like really talk shit about them back, you know. But then again,
they don't do royal that. Family do that, fucking you know? Family.
Yeah.
They ghosted him.
Yeah. So like you're done.
They're done. Meghan and what's his name, Harry, can't get in touch with them.
Yeah. There's nothing. No communication.
As something.
That's not true.
What?
He could get in touch with them. They just don't respond to him.
They
choose not to respond to him.
Right.
That doesn't mean they can't get in touch with them. They read his correspondence. They just choose not to answer.
That's something I would do after years and years of dealing with this. I'd be like, listen.
You would put out a book? I mean, to me, that's classless, honestly.
I don't expect an apology to ever come. I don't think there will. And like Ty said, they should get an apology. And both sides should apologize and they should figure it out. They're family. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you're family. Yeah, but and all your dirty laundry's out in the air.
Yeah, they won't ever.
Because instead of dealing with it internally, you chose to blast it all over Netflix and in a fucking book.
Yeah. And that's tough. But they didn't think they had another way of doing it.
After years and years, someone will get back to you that your brother or sister won't get back to you.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough.
You know?
And it's their fucking choice.
And those two are best friends, and I would blow this shit.
It's tough. You never think that would happen, but it happens in families all the time too. It just does. You think at the end of the day they'd be like, okay, we're family, we can work this shit out, but apparently they couldn't. And I wish that Harry and Meghan could get like some kind of apology or some kind of like peace from this whole situation, but I don't think they ever will. Or if they do, I think it'll come through their kids eventually. I think if anything, their kids will go back and their kids will work out and fix the family. But for now, it is what it is. I think they're just done. I think that's just it. And eventually we'll stop talking about it because they won't be talking about it. Harry and Meghan won't be talking about it. And eventually it'll go away until the kids, I think, become older. That's when I think the next step will happen. But only time will tell. Honestly, we'll see what happens.
Like, how dare you be like, oh, we're struggling to afford our $14 million fucking
I
house.
agree.
Like, are you insane?
I know there's that.
I
There's
Are
that
you
too.
serious?
I agree.
Are you fucking serious?
Right. I agree.
Like, I mean, you have to pick and choose. If you want to be the victim, be the victim. Don't be like, oh, woe is me. I can't pay my $14 million fucking house. Fuck you. That was on you.
Right,
Like, you
but-
have 2 children. You could
Yeah,
live in a
I
$1 million
agree.
house. You don't need a
I
$14
agree.
million house. And then you
I
don't
agree.
need to bitch and moan about how you can't afford it because you're no longer in the royal family. Like, that is fucked up shit, dude.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
And
agree
it's
with that.
inappropriate.
But Kate and William cannot talk about it or will not talk about it.
Yeah. They won't.
Yeah, because
They-
they were raised in the way that he was raised, which is you're not supposed to talk about that shit in the public fucking eye.
But
Like, that is the deal.
if it was
Yeah.
That's the
you,
deal.
if it was-
I'm
if it was
sorry.
you,
Like, you're not
It's
raised
how it
that way
is.
because you're a normal fucking person. They are royalty.
It's a different world that we don't really know much about, except that we've seen in the public. Well, we heard
She
too.
will be queen. He will be king. They can't be running around entertaining bullshit. She is going to be queen, not very far from today, and he is going to be king. So they cannot behave the way that Harry is behaving.
Yeah, it's
The
a
only
different.
way Harry
They have to
will
be very
become
careful.
king is if all of his sons die and he dies and she dies.
Right.
So it
Yeah, it's
basically
never gonna
has to be
happen.
a
I
plane
don't-
crash of all of the
Yeah,
people in William's family, and then Harry will be king.
Yeah. It's never going to
So
happen.
He can behave the way that he wants to. William and Kate are not going to succumb to that because they literally are going to be king and queen, and they have to behave as they are expected to behave. It's a fucking monarchy.
Yeah. Well, as Megan's been complaining about not being able to afford her $14 million house, and
I mean,
this
fucking
drama
fuck
has
you.
gone back and forth, that leads me into another story about Dan Reed, the director of the Michael Jackson story, Leaving Neverland, and what is our featured story of the night. All right, everybody, this came in, and an interview came up recently with Dan Reed, who was the director of Leaving Neverland, the story, of course, about Michael Jackson and what happened with all the accusations and the court cases and everything. Well, he came forward and now he said because of this Michael Jackson biopic that's coming out, he says it's going to glorify a man who abused children. He said he had that 4-hour documentary where he recounted how there was Robson recounted how he had 7 years old when the singer first raped him. And I mean, they go into a lot of this stuff about kids being raped when they're young. And they keep talking about, like, Dan Reed saying no one's canceling this, but why are we glorifying this man? Here's actually what Dan Reed had to say about this whole situation, about the documentary leading into the biopic coming out.
What the total absence of outrage accompanying the announcement of this movie tells us is that Jackson's seduction is still a living force, operating from beyond the grave. It seems that the press, his fans, and the vast older demographic who grew up loving Jackson are willing to set aside his unhealthy relationship with children and just go along with the music.
Yep. So this is what Dan Reed is saying. And for me, when I first heard of the biopic coming out, I'm like, this is awesome because it's Michael Jackson, I look at his legacy of his music career, and that's what I think of. Now, when they announced the biopic, they said, well, this is going to cover all aspects of his life. So will it cover the trial? I'm guessing it will. Will it cover all the controversy? I'm guessing it will. So Dan Reed is jumping ahead saying we shouldn't do this. But if anything, to make a movie like this, it's going to tell a story, just like his told a story. But this is going to tell the whole story of Michael Jackson as opposed to one point of his life, and then let the fans decide what they think about the situation. The court said nothing happened, but the kids said something happened. So we have a crossroads here. I think that Michael Jackson had a fabulous career, a lot of great music. Everybody can say that one of the best dancers, writers, singers out there we've ever had, generations. Just up there with, he's with Elvis. Elvis had rock, Michael had pop. You know, so I didn't surprise me this movie didn't happen. But again, probably didn't happen this long because of all the tribulations that happened in his past, because of the trial, because of the controversy, because of this Leaving Neverland movie, right? I want to, yeah, Lexi, I'll watch this. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see what his nephew brings to the part and how they cover it. Now, Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think? Do you think this is a good idea to make this movie? And do you think that it could actually, you know, open people's eyes in a new way that Learning Neverland never had a chance to do?
I agree 100% with what the comment on the screen says, which is Rachel. You can't judge what you think or how you feel about it until you see how they depict him. I mean, is it going to be honest? Is it going to include all of the things that it should include? Is it going to glorify things that it shouldn't? I mean, I don't know. It's all opinion based. Like if whoever's doing it has a certain opinion of him and that is what they want you to see, that is what they will create. So
Yeah.
I can't say that it's going to be good, bad, accurate, or anything else until you see what is in front of you. Honestly, like I do have a feeling that it's going to include all of those things. I don't think that they could really make a biopic about him without it. It just depends on how honestly they portray it, you know? So
Yeah,
I mean, I understand what the guy is saying. Like you shouldn't glorify that type of behavior, but like, you know, this is, you know, could be encapsulating this man's entire life from when he was exploited as a child to when he took his last breath. And I'm not saying that that makes anything okay, but it could give you I don't want to say understanding because there is really no understanding with that, but like it could show you what he has gone through as well, you know, and it should show you that. However, it's such a fucked up situation. He was so abused by his family that it's who is going to tell you the real story? Like, how are you going to know what actually happened behind closed doors? Like, I think it's very subjective, and I don't think it can be true to 100%. You know, so I have very mixed emotions about it, honestly.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like until you get the whole story, and you're right. It could from when he was a kid to how he was abused to where he was later on and how he was still a big kid growing up, you know, and that's what he used to say is like he was still a child at heart and that's why he hung out with children. Of course, we've had all these testimonies come forward being like some fucked up shit happened, you know, but it's a story that's a very gripping story of someone that was so overpopularized and put out there and actually like changed music history. It's such a character that you have to tell the story of. You just have to. And it shouldn't be the good and the bad. You should tell the whole thing. It should be a way of setting a story straight so people don't go down that same fucking road. And that's the problem. It happens to musicians. We had a whole show about this, how fucking the industry fucks people up. And that's what this movie should be. Chris, what do you think about this? Are you excited to see this biopic about this? And do you agree that with the director that this shouldn't happen, or do you think this should happen?
It shouldn't happen.
You don't think it should happen?
No.
Do you think because what he's saying?
Let it go.
You think because like what he said it was that, you know, that because of the controversy that they're giving light to someone who was a pedophilia?
Yeah.
Do you like Michael Jackson?
Yeah. I like his music. There have been documentaries I've watched, and it's kind of scary to see what I've watched. But who knows? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, and the court of law said nothing, but then there's all these stories. Right. You know what I mean?
You can't. Yeah.
You don't know unless you're there.
I'm not looking forward to a
biopic of him.
A biopic of him. No.
Is there anything that could change your opinion? Like maybe a trailer comes out and you're like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. Or do you think that you're just like tuned out from this completely?
No, I'm tuned out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to watch those documentaries, but I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you're going to watch it.
I'm sure you're going to watch it.
I mean, I am. I mean, Chris, you didn't want to watch those documentaries either. And like, it was very hard for you to watch, but you still watched them, didn't you?
What?
Oh, the documentaries on Michael Jackson.
Oh, yes, I did watch it. And
so you're going to watch this if it comes out.
It's been enough. I think it's been enough. Like, enough.
I'm not saying it hasn't.
How many more are we going to go? Like, how many more are we going to do?
Well, I think this will be it, Chris. I think after they do this, that will be it. You know, I think that will put it to bed. You know, they do his biopic, however they're gonna, showcase him. We'll find out. And then I think that'll be it. I don't think there's be a sequel to the Michael Jackson biopic, I think that'll be it. And we'll let go. Yeah, I mean, how do you do that? Be a 2-part thing. You never know.
No.
I mean,
For me,
I remember him doing the documentary with, I can't remember his name. He interviewed him. But sure.
Yeah.
Is that
but
correct?
Was it something that stood out? Like, what was it that made you remember that? What was so memorable?
Well, a lot. He interviewed him at Neverland, and it was a little weird talking about the kid.
Everything.
Yeah.
But
but then when that came out, Michael Jackson came out with his side of the story. So
you don't know. You're not sure. I can tell you're torn.
It's just I mean, what it.
I can tell you're torn, Chris. And a lot of people are like that, are like you, Chris. A lot of people are like you that were Michael Jackson fans. You hear all this shit. It makes you not trust him. It makes you look at him differently. And that's why, that's what the documentary came out, to kind of showcase other people's thoughts of what they saw, especially after the trial. So for me, I still am very interested in this biopic, because for me, I think that maybe it will show more, hopefully it dives into that. It showcases what he went through. It showcases the film industry's take on the music industry, how it has fucked people up and made these people not who they should be. Look at the deaths. Look at the alcohol, the drugs. Look at all the shits that happened to these big celebrities that were musicians and how the industry affected them. And I think that is what this movie should pinpoint and showcase, as opposed to trying to make him look like a good person. Show the real story. And I hope that's what it is at the end of the day. And I hope that everyone's happy with that and they get the true side and the whole story. Again, it's going to be over dramatized. That's what they do here. But for me, I'm still excited about it. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. As we say here, only time will tell. But anyways, thank you all for being here tonight. It's been a fiery show here on Kruse Control. I gotta say that. Very fiery. Everyone's fired up on this Sunday night.
Fired up.
I think I just saw that Beyonce won 32 Grammys tonight. I mean,
it's the Grammys
fucking
tonight.
nuts.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The most of all time.
Damn, girl.
The most of all time. So shout out to her. Kicking some ass.
So,
Yeah.
he broke the record?
Yeah. It's nuts. It's just nuts to me. But but great for her, Fantastic.
The Grammys are on right now?
Breaking news, right now. Breaking news.
Should we be watching this instead of doing a show so we can talk about it?
We can tune in right now. Everybody tune in if you missed it. Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you so much. We're here tonight because we're probably going to be down for a few days this week. Maybe the whole week. We're not sure. Taking a little hiatus. I'm working on set, working some long hours. It happens sometimes in this industry. And so we just got to go down for a few days. So we thank you for tuning in. We will be back before you know it. More news coming soon on that. Thank you, Sabrina, for being here as always. We appreciate you being here. Chris and Joanna, even though Joanna, we lost her at some point. I think Brooklyn pulled mommy away. Thank you for being here.
Around. I don't know where they are. Joanna, I don't know.
Well, we appreciate you being here as always. Check out at Bitchin' in the Kitchen and at the Panico Way, if you will, everybody.
You don't have to.
Chris and Joanna, we love having you here.
Yeah.
Love having you here. Everybody, please like and subscribe. Like, subscribe. We got 103 subscribers. Let's keep that going. Also, if you can join our Patreon, we appreciate that so much. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you again soon. Stay tuned. Take care. See ya.